When I moved to Tallahassee, I was looking for work. I was looking for community and friends. And the very first thing I did was reach out to the synagogue. Because for me, my life isn't complete without Jewish community. And so for me, it was just a natural go-to. Like, I was looking for work and for community, and I got connected with Rabbi Romberg after a bit of a runaround because the school was not active at the time. It was summertime, and so eventually I came and met Rabbi Romberg, and we had a person in connection that was his cousin who had actually helped find my nanny for Sunny when she was a baby, when I was a full-time single mom. Yeah, I have been teaching Bar Mitzvah students since, oh my gosh, I guess 15 of the 16 years. Sounds about right. And the cool thing is that I get to see a lot of them come as toddlers, and now they're all grown up. Some of them teach here now, and it's been a really amazing experience to see those kids grow, not just Jewishly, but into adults in the universe. I always tell them that becoming bar and bat mitzvah and going through all the lessons and practicing and studying and all of that stuff, it isn't just about getting up on the bima on the day and their families being proud of them and their communities cheering them on. That it's about learning how to take responsibility, and that they are going to mess up, and that there's going to be times that they don't practice, and that they spend time playing video games or whatever else it is that they want to do. But they figure out how to allocate their time in a way that is meaningful, and they get the job done. So while they don't all do exactly the same thing and they don't do it exactly the same way, they each come to the bima that day as proud Jewish adults because they took the time to figure out what it means to start to grow up. It's that, yes, it is really the beginning of a journey for them. It isn't just, bar mitzvah and then they're on their way to do whatever else and they never set foot in a synagogue again. They see the value of coming back and chanting Torah on high holy days and chanting Haftarah and becoming madrichim in the classroom or helping out in the kitchen or whatever, but being a part of not just this Tallahassee Jewish community, but the bigger Jewish community. Rabbi Romberg had this vision of wonderful music in services. He really wanted to have percussion. He wanted instrumentation. He always wanted to have cello. And so when I first came on board, we had a cantor, Tanya Greenblatt, and I remember her asking me if I wanted to play cello at services, and I was like, I would just like to be a Jew in the pew for my first high holy days here. But then slowly I got into it, and Angel started writing some arrangements for me. And then Joe Williams would play some drum, Michael Backin. But Rabbi had some very specific ideas of music that people could sing along to, that they would feel uplifted by. He wanted these services to be a place where people would come and just feel really engaged in the moment. And it's one of the things he and I bonded over because we both really, really love Jewish music, but we're always looking for different composers and different kinds of music. We both also really love classical music. But yeah, that is what sort of led to me saying, maybe we start a band. And so I did. And initially the first iteration of the band had Alex Molina in it, me, Ryan Pelk, Joe Williams, Ryan Banfield, and there was another person in it named Leah who used to also sing at services on weekends and for Friday nights and for bar bat mitzvahs. And we were like a cover band. We did a bunch of like Southern rock and a bunch of traditional Jewish music. And then Lee was in the first iteration too. I think Lee is trial. Lee and Brian both like to write music. And so they started writing music, and Leah wound up leaving, and Sherry Casper was in it for a little while. Howard Rubin for a little bit too, I think, on sax. And they wrote some music, and we recorded an album with Fred. God love Fred, the best sound guy in Tallahassee. And then we just sort of kept going. But you know, people went on different trips and tours around, and Rabbi Romberg wound up retiring, which was really hard. But the band kept going, even through COVID, actually. I remember, do you remember this, Alice? We played a Havdalah concert on Facebook Live in the Pelk family chicken area of the porch. I mean, every time someone feels that they need help, they can walk to my office, to Rabbi's office, to anybody's office. But, you know, when someone gets sick, they call, they let us know. Or if they don't see somebody around for a little bit, have you checked on this person? We have a caring circle of people that really care about other people. And we bring food when people are having babies and when people are struggling. Somebody has a knee operation, you know, we're there. I will tell you a very personal thing was, you know, when I moved here in 2010, my grandmother also moved here, and I don't really have a lot of family left. My grandmother was my last sort of connection. I lost my mom years before, but my grandmother was very active in the Alzheimer's Project, actually, which you might be able to hear on the other side of this wall right now. But my grandmother was a volunteer there. And unfortunately, when she got sick, you know, it took her away from a little bit. And people here knew who my grandmother was. She didn't always come to services. I mean, she did sometimes, but she was always here for Alzheimer's Project to help. And when she got sick and got her last diagnosis, I took her home. And I remember being in the library. I was putting books away. And I got a call on my cell phone from my grandmother. And she said, she was very upset with me because I hadn't come to pick her up. And I was like, what? I'm sorry. Why? What did I do? And she's like, I'm supposed to be volunteering at the Alzheimer's Project right now, and you did not come to pick me up to take me. And I said, well, Graham, you just got diagnosed with cancer, and you're planning radiation and all of these things. I thought it might be a little much for you. And she said, those people have it so much worse than I do. So I dropped what I was doing and I picked her up and I brought her here. And that's my attitude. And when she died, This congregation could not do enough for me. They fed me. They made brownies because I love brownies. They came to her funeral even if they didn't know her because they knew me. There was nothing that was too much to ask for. But the biggest thing was that I never had to ask. They were just there for me. From the rabbi to people that I maybe saw at services once a year. That's why you join a congregation. And that's why you join Temple Israel. If you are Jewish in Tallahassee, whether you're religious, observant, whether you are just Jewish by way of bagels or corned beef sandwiches, you still need community. You still need people to, hang out with and do those things with. So, yeah.